Hey guys, welcome back to week two's waiver wire. This one's not as crazy as week one, obviously, but because week one's start. But we got some good, decent pickups here if you guys need them. A lot of injuries, so definitely some guys to keep track of.
Crazy stuff at the quarterback position, man. Changed
Yeah,
up like crazy.
yeah. But this is living the fantasy. Let's get into it. So at the receiver position, Nelson Agholor is somebody that I would target. It's Djax has a groin injury, which I mean he might not come back after that. For next week, groin injuries suck. And then Alshon might be injured for next week too. So if that's the case, keep an eye on that. Nelson Agholor would be like a must start. The only downside of that is he has Darius Slay next week. Like they might go. I don't know. It's like Darius Slay. I don't know how to use him. If they have him travel with Agholor, then it might suck. But he's still going to get his option. He's still going to get his targets.
Yeah, I think he's a good pickup this week if you can find him, if he's a free agent. In a lot of my leagues, he got picked up last week for some reason. So I don't know. He's not really available in most of my leagues. But if I'm looking at receivers right now, I keep an eye on those other guys that are out, like the Deshaun Jacksons or whatever. And if those guys are out this next week, then I would even look at J.J. Arcega-Whiteside just as like a future pick, whatever. If your league is deep enough and you can like hold that roster spot. If not, then don't worry about it because he's not going to produce instant value probably. But if he can like make a name for himself on the field, he might end up being something eventually. He's so big.
Yeah.
He's got that big size, man.
Next up, we have Robinson and Mecole. So the two guys from the Chiefs. Which guy do you value more there?
As of now, Demarcus Robinson, just because Mecole Hardman hasn't like done anything yet.
He got a touchdown last week, and he just wasn't a blow up game. And he would have had another touchdown that got called back.
Yeah, I'd like targets a lot more than like big plays though, and I feel like Demarcus Robinson had a ton of them. I think
Well,
long
Demarcus Robinson
term,
only had 6 targets though. It was like 6 or 6, I think, right?
yeah, but it was. I mean, I don't know. It was fairly close. And
It's
Demarcus
close.
Robinson, I like right now at like I think he has a lot of upside right now because Tyreek Hill's out, and they kind of gave him the role. Whereas Mecole Hardman long term, I think has more upside. So like once Tyreek comes back, I think Mecole Hardman still plays, whereas Demarcus Robinson kind of gets cut out of the offense a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're in a dynasty, I wouldn't even waste a spot on Robinson. I'd probably just go
Yeah,
Mecole.
Mecole would be my, like I'm going to Mark in a few of my dynasties. I'm grabbing Demarcus because I have that much like crappy depth. I have a lot of players that like I don't need. So like I'm dropping Damian Willis because he was supposed to be the guy while AJ Green was gone, and AJ Green, has been gone, and Damian Willis hasn't done anything. So Demarcus Robinson is somebody that I'm picking up.
Um, yeah, but like you said, when Tyreek Hill comes back, these guys might not be anything really. And then
Yeah.
I don't know. You're just gonna be hit or miss. Mecole, like he might have been picked up a lot in a lot of leagues already because of like people all expecting big things from him.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
if he's
that's why
available, I
Robinson's
might
probably
grab
the
him.
big guy. Yeah.
Yeah, if he's available, I might grab him just because I do like Mecole, but like it's just it's just scary because you don't know what he's gonna do. There's so many pieces in that Chiefs offense.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. If you have Sammy Watkins and you have Mecole and Robinson, you start all three of them like you did the Rams last year. At least two of them are gonna blow up for 20 plus points. So honestly, that's a strategy that you could do.
For sure.
I'm not saying I don't know if I advise it or not, but honestly, it might be
Probably
better
bad
than
call.
might be better than some of these other options. But yeah, until Tyreek Hill comes back, those guys are guys that can be interesting plays.
A
Um,
guy that I have above Demarcus Robinson or Kiki Cudi or whoever like you have on your roster that you're trying to get rid of, Robert Wood or not Robert Woods, what's his name?
Foster.
Robert Foster, DJ Shark. I like above those guys this week because he's been putting in a lot of production with Minshew at quarterback, and so I kind of like him because he's pretty safe. He's going to put up a few points every single week anyway, and then
Chris
I
Conley.
don't. Yeah, and then Chris Conley is another one I'm personally targeting because he has like that slot value that you were talking about earlier.
He's with the Jacksonville Jaguars too, right? Same Dolphins.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so both of those guys, I think they're going to put up numbers even though like they're on the same team or whatever.
So
It's just
weird,
like,
man.
yeah,
It's just so weird
it,
that
it,
what's his face, Didi's gone, basically.
yeah, just out of the offense because these other guys like, but they're getting a lot of targets and they're getting a lot of work. So if
Yeah.
Minshew can keep up his production, then like you got a pretty good offense out of the Jags.
Yeah, those are like decent pickups for sure. Do you like Chark better or Conley?
That's really tough. Like, that's a tough one for me because I think Conley's a safer pick each week, but DJ Chark has a lot of upside too. So
Yeah,
I don't mind either. I think the DJ Chark is taken in a lot of my leagues already, which is kind of strange. But I don't know. I go for him depending on who's available and what's going on. Like, because in some of my leagues I still do have some of those like premier wide receivers available. Like I do have the Marquise Browns available. I do have the whatever, and so I'm going for those guys instead. But these are safe picks. So
DJ Shark probably has more upside, yeah, because of he's more of a long bomb guy. Like if one of these guys is going to catch a long pass, it's probably going to be Shark. But
yeah,
Conley's
where
probably, like
Chris
said,
Conley's
like
more over the middle.
Yeah,
he's more over the middle. He's going to get the short stuff, and you're going to get constant production out of him. I had a big issue this week because I was like, do I start Chris Conley or Joe Mixon? And clearly Conley was the right answer, and I should have went with my heart. But what are you going to do?
Another guy I want to bring up is DK Metcalf. We said it last week. We say it again. Like he's just a guy that is huge. He's going to get targets from Russell Wilson. Like it's just, I don't know, man. I just think he's a good pickup. He's a good guy to have on your team. I only have him on like one team just because of my teams aren't. It's just 10-man leagues, but he's a guy to look at for sure. I'm comfortable starting him.
Yeah, in a 10-man league, he's going to be available sometimes. So I would look for him. Generally, in most 12-man leagues, either I have him or somebody else does. So I don't know. You're probably not going to be able to pick him up, but if he can, go for it.
Yeah,
he's a big dude.
And then another guy, I don't know how much I like this one, but Deebo Samuel.
I'm off the Deebo hype right now. There's too many elite wide receivers in the league for me to like be jumping on Deebo. So if you see Deebo, just beware. Yeah.
But
all the other guys that we talked about, I take above Deebo Samuel right now.
Same. But if you have to do it, you got to do what you got to do. Like injuries happen, shit happens. He's not a bad option, but yeah.
But the Niners offense is just so scary. It's like, what are you gonna do? Like,
you never know. Do you have any other receivers you want to talk about, or is that going to be all for receivers?
So the other one I wanted to throw out there was Devin Smith or Randall Cobb. So if Michael Gallup is out for the next 2 to 4 weeks, which they said he would be, then Devin Smith or Randall Cobb is going to have an increase in their production. Devin Smith is a young guy who's super, super fast, and he's like actually pretty like a Cole Beasley type, I guess. And so keep an eye on him because they said they were going to put him in the offense a lot more. I wouldn't rush to go pick him up right now because he's not quite there yet. I want to see what he can do this next week, and then if he does well, then you've got yourself a wide receiver. But for at least a few more weeks when when Gallup comes back. But they were trying to incorporate him in the game even when Gallup was in the game, so it might be something that you look out for. But don't rush to like pick him up right now. Those other guys that we listed are better options as of now.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't start them, either of them. I wouldn't rush to pick any of them up like you said. Exactly. I think the one reason why you might pick him up is just because you're scared that if Devin Smith goes off one more time, then everybody's going to pick him up. So if you want to get ahead of the curve, then you can do it and have him on your bench if your options are that bad. But I probably, like you said, I probably wouldn't rush to pick him up. Just keep an eye out.
People are really slow to pick up names they don't know, though. Like I've noticed, if there's a name like Randall Cobb and Randall Cobb goes off for 40 points or some shit, then everybody's gonna like go, oh, Randall Cobb's back, he's the second coming, like Randall Cobb's here. But like if like Devin Smith, a guy who nobody's heard of, goes off, then they're like, oh, it was just a fluke, it was just the one game, whatever. So if you guys are the first to know about it, you guys are the first to like pay attention to it, then you can decide whether or not it's not a fluke or it is a fluke or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So then moving on with the running backs.
Okay.
A couple guys that you need to keep track of is McCoy got injured and Damian Williams got injured. So if they don't play, Derwin Thompson is the guy, I believe. So
Derwin Thompson or Darrell Williams.
Yeah, one of those two guys, but probably Thompson, I think, in my opinion.
Most likely. And
even if they both, let's say like the other guy gets he gets more of a role than Darwin Thompson, I just think Darwin Thompson is probably better. So I don't know. I think
I'm not rushing to start. I'm not rushing to start any of them like this week anyway. It's probably gonna be a running back by committee. I might pick them up just to like have them just in case, like because that's one where people will just jump on it as soon as they do well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would start him on if McCoy and Williams are both out. I think you have to start Darwin Thompson.
But you don't know what the workload's going to be, man. You don't know if it's going to be.
It's just the Chiefs' offense. It's just even without like workload, they're still going to be good. I think. I don't know. I think they're going against like Baltimore right now though, so that could help.
They could just abandon the run game.
That could be an issue because Baltimore's generally pretty good.
Yeah. That's going to be a big matchup, dude. And I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on those injuries. And same with James Conner. He got injured. Um, I think he's saying that he's good. It's a little knee injury, nothing crazy. And I think with McCoy and Williams, I don't think those are too serious either from what I've seen. But I don't know. Nothing's really been put out there yet. So again, keep an eye on James Conner, because if he's out, then you have to start Jaylen Smith or Jaylen Samuel.
Yeah, and I like Jaylen Samuels a lot. He shows that he's pretty damn good, but it's going to be interesting in that Steelers offense with the whole change of quarterback. Like the entire offense could change within 1 week, so it's like, where's the value at? Is it in the run game, or is it in the pass game, or is it in neither? Or whatever.
Yeah, well, Vance McDonald's certainly going to be better now, because I think that he's going to get targeted now. So
he was underused with Big Ben. Big Ben would either throw it deep or he wouldn't throw it at all and take a sack.
Yeah, he's not a tight end guy.
Yeah.
But
Mason Rudolph showed that he liked to hit him, which is cool.
Carlos Hyde, so it's not a bad one. He's been getting a lot of workload. He's gotten like 90 yards each week. So if he just adds a touchdown, then he's going to have some solid weeks. But definitely going to be more touchdown dependent, because if he has a bad week in running or rushing yards, then you're not going to get shit out of him, because he's not going to get any passing volume at all. So there's limited upside with him. But if they just hand the ball off 20 times and he's able to get 70, 90 yards plus a touchdown, that's solid. I'm not crazy high on Hyde still, but like with some of these injuries, you got to pick some guys up. Like, it's not a bad option this week.
Yeah, I'm looking at other guys first, but it's worth a look because he did get those 20 carries, and if you're getting the workload, then the production's bound to follow. So he only had 4.5 yards per carry, which isn't like earth-shattering or whatever. It's pretty good, but it's not like insane. He helped his team win, or not win, but whatever. I don't know if they won or not, but anyway, he did his job basically with 20 carries for 90 yards. He's game script and touchdown dependent, so if they're in a position where they're ahead, which they might not always be, then he's going to get more carries or less or whatever. So I don't know. I like him, and if he's available in your league, it's worth a look. But I think there's other guys that I'd rather have. Like, I'd rather have a Derwin Thompson where there's like crazy upside, or I'd rather have.
Yeah, but even then, it's like those guys aren't. Those are based. That's assuming these other guys are injured. But if those guys are playing, then Hyde might be the best back this week. Him and But
there's still other guys we haven't mentioned that I like better than Hyde.
And Raheem Mostert is probably the guy you like better.
No.
No.
No. Well, the guy I like better is Rashaad Penny.
Yeah, but I think he's rostered on most teams.
In 3 of my leagues, Rashaad Penny is not rostered.
Oh shit.
And he's about to be rostered by none other than Matt Moss, me.
There's one league where he's not rostered out of my 5.
Yeah. 3 out of my 11 or whatever, he's rostered. So
I guess you'll hit that 1 out of 5, 1 out of 4.
Yeah, I'm exactly. Yeah, 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 leagues, he's not going to be rostered. And generally, it's going to be like your more shallow leagues, like your 10 mans, maybe your 12 mans if it's like a shallow like bench. But with Chris Carson's fumbling issue that's going on, he's had like 2 fumbles a week. They're going to start decreasing his workload if he doesn't turn his shit around, which I hate as a Chris Carson owner. But that means you got to be in the know, and you got to go grab yourself some Rashaad Penny, because if he starts getting the carries, then he's going to make the most of them. He's a pretty good running back. Like, he was drafted to be a starter kind of, and then they were like, you know what, we like Chris Carson, and they stuck with him. But Rashaad Penny's a beast. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, he was drafted to be a beast.
I think Chris Carson's probably still fine. He's still going to do good, but it's just that Rashaad Penny's a really crucial handcuff. He's like one of the best handcuffs, because there's so much volume with the running game that not only can he have potential weeks where he does good and Chris Carson does good, but like, it's also if Chris Carson gets injured or they, for whatever reason, go a different way, then Penny's the guy, man. And so it's just he's crazy.
He could be a workhorse on his own. Yeah, he could be a workhorse on his own. So like, that's the guy I have above Carlos Hyde right now. But you're right, Raheem Mostert is the next guy on my list.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert. He did really good this last week. He's going to be the second guy behind, what's his name? I forget his name.
I don't know. Breda? Jeff Wilson?
Yeah, Breda. Yeah, Matt Breda. I don't know why I was trying on that. But he's going to be the second
Breda
guy.
Did well. I think Breda did well, but Raheem Mostert has PPR value, whereas I don't think Breda or Jeff Wilson do. Like,
yeah, I think they want to use him in the passing game a little bit more.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert's just a little quicker, so like, he's got that PPR value. So regardless of what he does, he's like an Eckler. He's not Eckler. I'm not gonna compare him to Eckler, but like, he's going to be getting catches, and that's going to give you standalone value every single week with like in a PPR league. Whereas the other guys are yard dependent and touchdown dependent, like whatever. And I hate that. Like I'd much rather a guy like just get his points by catching a few balls in the backfield and like getting -5 yards per catch, but still getting a point every single time he catches the ball.
Yeah, with the whole PPR rules, man, it's so valuable for the pass catcher.
Yeah,
or if the running back is a pass catcher.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, but aside from that, the Niners running backs I'm dodging until we get more like information and comfortability in the Niners offense, because we hate the Niners offense as an organization.
Yeah, not a huge pickup for me. Like again, because I have 10-man like leagues that I'm doing because of Yahoo's Pro Leagues, but so I'm not dropping anybody that I have. But if you have a deeper team, like I'd pick him up. I wouldn't be opposed to it. He's gonna be the second guy behind Breida, but like you said, passing work probably. But Breida's still the main guy. Jeff Wilson's an afterthought for me. Like I don't want the third running back in any offense. I don't care. He got the 2 touchdowns or whatever. I don't want him. I'm not starting him. It's just
he got lucky is what it was.
Yeah, if you're in an 18-man league, I mean, I guess you pick him up, but even then, I don't know.
Yeah. Whereas like Raheem Mostert, I think you can drop the guys like Robert Foster. You can drop the guys like the Kiki Cooties, the whatever, the people who aren't doing anything on your roster, and you are looking for more upside in future value. Raheem Mostert's that guy. He's going to give you that future upside.
Yeah.
So.
And then Frank Gore, I just want to talk about real quick because Devin Singletary got injured. If Frank Gore is the only running back, well, not the only, they obviously have guys behind them, but
he's injured or just like a couple weeks?
I don't think it's crazy. It might just be like a week.
Okay, because I didn't see the injury, so that's why I'm like, oh crap.
I'm not sure. I think it's just a week or two. I don't know.
For sure.
Again, looking at all these injuries, whenever all these reports come out, because there's not too much information on all this stuff quite yet, but Frank Gore,
it's always after waivers.
Yeah, if he has an increased role, still not going crazy for Frank Gore. Still don't like it. But there's a chance he gets a touchdown and like 30, 40 yards next week. So if you're desperate to play somebody next week, Frank Gore could be a guy you can play. It's just.
But the other issue is that Singletary wasn't getting that many carries either. So like, how much does his workload actually increase? Like, it really should.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not high on it. I'm saying it's something crazy, but it's just like it's not a bad option for say next week. It's just not obviously. Good.
We'd rather you go Mostert. We'd rather you go Rashaad Penny. We'd rather you go Carlos Hyde. Than Frank Gore. But like Frank Gore's a valuable pickup long term because he's proven that he could be a workhorse in the NFL. He's just an workhorse.
I think Jaylen Samuels is probably one of the better pickups though, just because if Connor misses next week, that's a guy you can start. Derwin Thompson, the odds of McCoy and Williams not playing next week is a lot lower than just James Conner not playing. But that's just how I look at it. But again, keep up on those injuries. Anybody else in the running back position?
I have nobody at the running back position after that.
Okay. It's not. I don't think it's too deep this week.
I do have a bunch of tight ends that I like.
Yeah, well, the guy I like is Greg Olsen. I said it last week, and he went off for like 14 points this week in my half-point league. So the one issue with that is Cam might not play next week, and I don't know if that's an issue. I think they still have that like 40-year-old veteran that can still get the ball to
He was
Greg
pretty
Olsen.
good. Yeah, they had a guy who was playing in preseason that I was watching, and he was actually really good. Like. So I'm not worried about Cam playing or not playing or whatever. Like,
actually, they had that rookie. They drafted a rookie like last year or this year, or last year or the year before that.
I'm not even sure. Oh, I
think his last name started with a G, like Greer.
Maybe. Well, yeah, Will Greer. Yeah.
Will Greer, yeah.
But yeah. So aside from all that, like, Greg Olsen's like he's one of my top 3 tight ends this week for pickup.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a good option if you need one. I
wasn't going into the season trying to draft him, but I didn't know if he has the potential to do good if he's healthy. And that was the big if he's healthy, because he can get injured each week. You never know, and then you end up with 2 points if he gets injured. But as long as he's like starting, he's at least 5 points with 15-point upside. So he's definitely one of the top guys to target this week, especially with some of the injuries, or like guys that are underperforming, like O.J. Howard and
well, that's the tough part this year. That's the tough part is like when you draft a guy so high, like you drafted O.J. Howard, when is the time to jump off the bandwagon and go, you know what, O.J. Howard's not going to perform this year. I'm confident in like him not doing anything. Like I had to drop Njoku this week because Mark Andrews is a free agent, and like I think it's finally the time to drop Njoku, and just say, whatever. Like, especially with the concussion that just happened and all that. Like, Mark Andrews is the best tight end in the league technically. So
I think he's second behind Kelsey for the most part, maybe even fourth behind Ertz and Kittle. But even
and the fact that he's still a free agent this week shows that other people felt the exact same way as me. Like, he should have been picked up week 1, but everybody else is so scared to drop the guys that they drafted high that they're like, I don't know, like, so.
Yeah, if Mark Andrews is a free agent at this point, you have to start. He's in every week start at tight end pretty much. Again, you don't overreact too hard because Dolphins and the Cardinals aren't the best, but like,
still,
it's tight ends or they're shit. So he's in every week
tight
start.
ends are bad this year, so you got to do what you got to do. And tight ends have been known to when adversity hits, they're the safety blanket. So
yeah, you could say he's the number 2 guy behind Kelsey, or you could say he's behind Zach Ertz, Kittle, and then even Evan Ingram, he's probably behind. But like after that, it's definitely Mark Andrews. You can't put him back any farther than that anymore. I don't think.
My top 3 tight ends for pickup this week are Darren Waller if he's still available, then Greg Olsen, then Will Dissly from Seattle.
Yeah, so I don't like Will Dissly at all, dude. Because like last year he did the same thing. He had one blowout game and then he didn't do shit for like games after that.
He didn't do that bad last year, man. He put up some good numbers. He just he got injured and then it was game over. Like, he couldn't play the rest of the season. But like,
I guess
he had one good game and then he kind of did all right for a while.
I don't buy it. I don't feel comfortable. I'd definitely rather have Greg Olsen if he's there. Honestly, I'd take a shot at any tight end at this point, like Jimmy Graham, getting a touchdown over Will Dissly. I would take a shot on Graham over Dissly.
On Jimmy Graham?
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham's rostered in most of my leagues.
Surprisingly, he is in mine too. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
People it's because he's on Green Bay and they're like, oh, Aaron Rodgers will hit him. Finally Jimmy Graham's back. He's gonna be the guy he was with freaking Drew Brees. But that's not how the Patriots or the Packers offense works. So it's wishful thinking.
Yeah. It's also.
But I'd rather have Will Dissly.
Not the same guy, but.
I'd rather have Will Dissly than Jimmy Graham, but it's a toss-up. It's very close.
I'd take Jason Witten over both of them. That's the guy that I want to bring up is Jason Witten.
Jason Witten, the
old reliable man. He's fucking slow as a turtle, man. But he's touchdown dependent. But he's gotten 2 touchdowns, 1 each week. He's like a lock for a touchdown each week, which if happens, obviously 16 touchdowns would be a lot, but it's not gonna happen every week. But it's a good tight end to take your shot on because Dak likes his Jason Witten in the end zone. So
yeah, I don't mind picking up Jason Witten. I'm still not doing it because I don't like him very much.
I get it.
But it's a personal thing. It's like I want to be right so bad about Jason Witten being a schmuck that I'm not picking him up. And it's just, and most leagues I don't have a need for tight ends, so it's like, and if I did, I'm gonna grab like a Darren Waller if he's available, or like Will Dissly or Greg Olsen because Greg Olsen's available in all my leagues. So.
Yeah, no, I think Greg Olsen's the best targeted tight end for sure by a long shot, and it's not even close. Darren Waller should already be picked up in every league, but if he's not, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Bengal tight ends.
Mark Andrews wasn't picked up in my league, bro. That's
yeah, that happens.
Anything can happen. There's guys in there that people freak out on OJ Howard and they'll drop him, and then you're like, oh damn, do I take him?
So OJ Howard, one thing I want to mention too is he's going against the Giants next week. That's a juicy matchup. You could give him one more shot. Personally, I'm benching him for Vance McDonald. If you don't have a better option, then obviously don't. But I need to see something before I put him back into my lineup. Even if he gets 20 points, I don't care. I want to see it before I throw him back in there. But
yeah, he hasn't deserved a spot.
But I could understand one last week. If you want to give him one last week, you can. If he doesn't do anything against the Giants, honestly, he's a drop candidate. I don't think he's dropped yet.
If he doesn't do anything this next week, he is a drop candidate. I'm looking for tight ends. Or I'm looking to trade.
Yeah, you could try to trade him for guys that were going in that same area, like Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders hasn't done too much either, so there might be just wanting to clear his bench, get rid of him, because you can't drop Sanders, but you don't really want him, right? So, I don't know. He has upside.
Miles Sanders had a decent workload this week,
he's the starting guy, but it's just he hasn't been doing shit, so...
Yeah, long term, Miles Sanders is a great play though.
Long term, yeah. If you could trade OJ Howard for Miles Sanders, that's definitely good.
I would take it, yeah, for sure.
Before you drop OJ, try to make that trade. But
I wouldn't just drop OJ Howard. He's still OJ Howard on paper, so it's just not in real life.
Shit. Bengal tight ends. I think Eifert's the main guy there, but again, he's just injury prone, son of a bitch. So CJ Usman or whatever.
Uzomah.
Usmanzada. You know.
TJ Usmanzada.
Usmanzada.
Same thing, right?
So he might be a good play, but he got 0 points last week. It's just going to be hit or miss with those guys. You don't know who's going to blow up. Well, not even blow up, but you don't know who's going to get the touchdown each week. This week, this week it was Eifert. So I think Eifert's better, but like
I think neither you want on your roster.
Neither you want, but it's like worst case scenario. You gotta do something. You know.
I have Uzomah on one of my leagues, but I'm actually dropping him this week for Will Dissly, I think. So,
but the thing is are you starting Eifert or Jared Cook?
Jared Cook all day. Jared Cook has way more upside.
Yeah, he's got more upside, but he hasn't shown it. He hasn't done anything.
I don't mind that though. Like the boom or bust potential is why you get Jared Cook. Like if you're confident in the rest of your roster and you're like, okay, this boom or bust is, I don't know. Jared Cook has 30-point upside and 0-point downside, so it's just like that's what you get when you draft him.
Yeah.
Like I take him in my points for leagues, my leagues where it's about total points, not head-to-head matchups and all that, and I just look for him to boom random weeks because he's still going to be a top 5 tight end long term, but short term he's going to be really really bad. So that's where I take Jared Cook.
I get that. So quarterbacks. If you have no other tight ends, quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, if he's out there, you pick him up 100%. There's so many injuries with quarterbacks this week. Josh Allen's going to be 100% gone in all your leagues after this week. So if you have a guy like Cam, like you have to pick up Josh Allen this week. And Cam's might not even play next week, they said. So you have to pick up Josh Allen if you're the Cam owner before the Ben Roethlisberger or the Drew Brees owner gets him.
There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks. There's a lot of free agent quarterbacks this week. There's Daniel Jones, Mason Rudolph.
There's guys, but there's like they're not as good as Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen's a weekly play.
Sam Darnold, if you want to stash him.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
I'm probably not doing that, but
I'd rather. This is the third one I have. So it's like Kyler Murray. If he's there, you have to pick up Kyler Murray, and if Josh Allen's there, you have to pick him up.
Andy Dalton's a steal, bro. I would take Andy Dalton in a heartbeat over all these guys.
No.
Andy Dalton is coming to his own, bro. Andy Dalton's a beast. Like
Andy Dalton's, that's why I have him third. Like he's definitely far and away better than like Josh. What was his fucking name? Josh
what?
Is it not Josh?
Josh Rosen?
Josh Rosen, yes.
Okay.
Who's the guy in the fucking? Why am I drawing a blank on the Giants quarterback?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. Why? I don't know why I was thinking of Josh. I guess it's because Josh Allen they should have picked, but. They went Daniel Jones.
They went Daniel Jones. Yeah. Well, Josh Allen wasn't a rookie, was he?
No, the end Josh Allen.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
It's early in the morning, man. My brain's still waking up.
Too damn early, man. Birds aren't even chirping yet.
I don't know about that one, but but shit. Yeah, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Andy Dalton for sure. After that, then you're getting really dicey. Derek Carr maybe. Matt Stafford as well. Actually, Matt Stafford's the fourth one if he's available. Actually, I don't know. Matt Stafford might be even better than Andy Dalton, though, man.
I'm going Mason. Like, if I'm gonna grab a quarterback, it's not gonna be a guy that we've seen before. I'm gonna grab a guy that like we haven't because there's upside that is untapped, and like there's more upside in doing that because people aren't gonna pick up the vets. Clearly, they've passed on the vets before. But if they see Mason Rudolph have a huge game, if they see Daniel Jones have a huge game, then they're gonna clamor for him the next week. And like I want to be the guy that gets there before anybody else does.
That's true. I get that. Yeah, so Daniel Jones, Mason Rudolph, those are decent pickups. I agree with that. I mean,
and they're both like touted as elite quarterbacks. Like when they were, I mean, Mason Rudolph technically wasn't, but like there was arguments that he should have gone like in the first round. There was arguments that he should have been like earlier pick. Like.
I guess he talked me into it. Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Andy Dalton, Matt Stafford, and then after that I go Kyle Rudolph and then Daniel Jones, and then after that probably Derek Carr. But stay away from Kirk Cousins and all those guys. You don't want that.
Yeah, and the only leagues where I'm picking up Daniel Jones and Mason Rudolph is in leagues where I have like Cam Newton, where I have Big Ben, where I have these guys that are getting injured and stuff like. And then in my dynasties, like Mason Rudolph is available in one of them because I dropped him at the beginning of the year, and that was now an idiotic move. But at the time, it was to clear space for more like running back depth and wide receiver depth and all that stuff, all the rookies that I drafted and all that stuff. So I dropped Mason Rudolph because I was like, oh, 2 years before he performs, I can't handle that. I can't handle rostering somebody for 2 years. So dropped him. Now I got to pick him back up. And both those guys are must grabs in dynasty format. So if you see him on the free agency, like you have to pick them up now.
Yeah.
Like unless you have 8 quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, that's what this whole quarterback segment's going to be about too. Is just all the guys that have injuries and Cam. So I guess injuries. Do you have anybody else you want to mention, or something?
I mean, not really. Like I think quarterback's pretty self-explanatory. Like it's a cluster, man. So play matchups, play upside. So if there's a guy that like nobody's seen before, like those 2 guys, then grab them before anybody else can. And then if they suck, they suck. And if they're good, they're good. And you don't have to worry about it. I think the minimum they both get like 20 points or 15 points or whatever, and they're going to give you just enough to survive regardless of what happens. I think Mason Rudolph has better receivers around him, but Daniel Jones has a better running back. So he has the dump off to the outsides or whatever. Mason Rudolph though has Vance McDonald and Juju, so that like
and James Washington. Whatever. I like James Washington a lot.
Yeah, James Washington's great. I'm just talking about like elite. Like,
no, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, and so like I think both are in good systems. So
yeah, you take a shot more of a loser, sure, but definitely Kyler Murray and Josh Allen before any of that.
Yeah, and if they're free agents, then go for it.
I gave you the run that little list.
Kyler Murray's not bad. Like because Kyler Murray at least like
that's so much opportunity, man. It's just.
And they've improved since the week 1. So. Wow. If they keep improving, he could be elite by the end of the year.
Larry Fitzgerald looking like a beast.
Yeah, Larry Fitz is a monster, bro. He's a raw, like, got such a steal on him in like the 9th round because he's old.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up the video today, guys. Waiver wire week 2.
All right, Waiver wire week 2. See y'all.
Week 2.
Subscribe.
See you next week on Waiver wire 3.
Waiver wire. No, see you Sunday for the live stream. And
then the Waiver wire.
Yep.
All right. Peace.
Deuces.